Banana Tuesday, banana na 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 na.
Hello everyone! I'm so excited to be here with you live today. I invited Chris Kendall today.
Morning, Sachi. How you doing? Good afternoon, I
I'm
guess,
good, I'm
for
good.
you. I guess good afternoon for you. What time is
Yes,
it where you're at?
good afternoon. 5 p.m. 5.
Wow. Nice.
And 10 a.m. right?
Yeah,
For you.
10 a.m. here, which shouldn't be that early, but I'll admit I was up till 3:30, so it's a little early because I was up
Oh,
so late.
oh, actually, me too. 3
Yeah.
a.m. yesterday. Yeah. Okay.
First day of the bundle, you know, it's a lot going on.
Oh, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good?
Yeah, even
Good?
though I didn't get a lot of sleep, I'm feeling good, and I figure the rest of the bundle I'm gonna really make sure that I get to bed earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, at least most of the days, or sleep in if I need to. I just went outside and got on the bare ground and some grass and looked up at the sun, and I'm feeling pretty refreshed.
That's great. That's great. I love your hairstyle.
You know, it's funny that you said that because I was just thinking, did you get a haircut? Because your hair looks really nice yourself.
Oh, yes, yes.
It loo-
I got haircut.
it looks really nice. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is my yoga do. I put it up like this actually for a shower because I didn't want to get my hair wet.
mhm.
But yeah, I figured I'd keep it all yogi for us for the talk. Oh,
That's good. I love that.
wow. 4 a.m. in the States, in EST in the States right now. That's what they're saying. Herbal
Oh,
tea.
yeah.
Hi, herbal tea. Well, honored that they're up right now watching us. That's awesome.
Hello, hello. So many people.
Yeah.
Okay. So, your new book is Banana. We
Hmm.
love banana, and finally you make banana book. Oh,
I know it's
banana
really about
mustache.
time.
Mhm.
I think I've made. Oh gosh, it's almost embarrassing to say. Oh wow, I think I've made like 12 books. I think this is my 13th or 14th book. And being the banana commander, it was only fitting that I really went into bananas and made a banana-centric book that, you know, explains my love of bananas and so much more.
Yeah, you have 13 to 14 book.
I'm pretty sure because, you know, I on
Oh,
my website already, I think I have 9 or 10, and I don't even have my 4 meal plans on there, nor my stew book from last year's bundle. I've been a little bit slow in getting my newest books up on the website because other stuff has taken precedence.
mhm.
But with those and then this new book, I mean, I need to count, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere between 13 and 15 books,
Oh wow, so
which
many.
which would be kind of perfect because, you know, I've been doing this full time for 15 years,
Mhm.
maybe 15, 16 years. So that is basically one per year. But
Oh,
but,
that's
but
a
I definitely haven't really done one per year. I've had some productive years and some a little bit less productive years with
yes,
writing
of
books.
course.
Yeah.
Uh,
You have
okay.
now 3 books? Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
3 books, and the
Yeah.
fourth is my new book is 4.
Yeah. That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
Thank you,
Your book in
thank
the
you.
bundle
So,
is very, very beautiful.
oh, thank you,
I love it.
thank you
I
so
love
much.
it.
Yeah. So, could you talk about the banana and
Absolutely.
you are
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Um,
just
so, you know, it's kind of,
very simple topic, but
it
maybe
is, but
we love
it's,
banana and
yeah, they're just, you know, I think the thing that makes me so attracted to bananas is just that they are simple, you know, like from every kind of aspect, you know, like it's really easy to peel them, you know, it's really easy to eat them.
yeah,
It's pretty darn easy to get enough calories from them because they're, you know, they're more calorically dense. They're very easy to grow because, you know, you don't even really have to plant seeds. They grow up from the base of other banana trees. And if you're starting them, you know, you can just get a corm, which is like a baby pup, and plant that. You know, I love bananas. You know, they're not my favorite fruit taste wise. You know, there are other fruits that I actually enjoy a little bit more, but to me, it's like a perfect staple fruit, you know, because some of those other fruits that have a more powerful flavor or something like that, like I really love, but I can actually kind of get sick of the flavor because it's so powerful. Whereas banana is like almost a perfect balance. To me, it's like the rice of the raw food movement, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's just so consistent and you know they're available year round, so I always know I can get bananas, and it's pretty rare that I don't have bananas. I remember last year think I had 3 months without bananas
Oh.
when it was persimmon season, and that's like the longest I've gone without bananas as long as I can remember, you know. But you know, they're available year round and they're so inexpensive compared to other fruits per calorie. And I think that's always an important distinction to make as well, because, you know, we eat per calorie, not necessarily per pound. Because, you know, if I'm getting all my calories from bananas, 8 pounds, you know, or about 3.5, almost 4 kilos is enough.
Mhm.
But if I'm getting all, and that's per day, but if let's say I'm getting all my calories from watermelon, I need like almost like 25 or
Oh.
25 plus pounds, or like, you know, like 13 kilos. So like, you know, 3+ times as much because there's so much water. And so in terms of like belly space, in terms of ease of carrying around,
Mhm.
um, you know, in terms of just feeling really satisfied, because, you know, they're actually 70, I think between 75 and 77% water, which most people don't think so because they feel dry. That's how much water we have. We're like 77, 78% water. So like primates typically eat bananas the opposite way that we do. You know, often we take the stem end and we peel it down to the bottom end, but they actually hold the stem end and then peel the opposite end off and eat them.
Wow. But it's easy to convenient to hold, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Then
exactly. I think that's probably why that they do that. What's your favorite thing about bananas?
bananas. So banana, I eat almost every day. But recently, maybe these few years, I also have skipped banana meal and
Yeah.
enjoy persimmon in season.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
um, banana I eat almost every day, 10 years, and banana is honestly my least favorite food. Fruit.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
I have another variety of fruits, banana is the last
Yeah.
food I pick. But I really love banana because not just of a taste, all the reason you mentioned
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I I I skipped banana when I was back from traveled abroad
Mhm.
this winter, and I don't feel like eating bananas,
Yeah.
so I just eat other like orange and apples,
Yeah.
but how? Oh, I'm so sorry.
It,
How can I do?
uh,
My
you
battery charged.
oh,
I need battery
make,
charge.
make sure you plug her
Maybe
in. That's a good reminder. I'm gonna plug
or
mine in as well.
connection. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You were it broke up for a second. Were you saying that it made it harder to get enough calories when you weren't eating bananas, or what did you mention? Because it cut off.
So it's hard to get calorie. So
Calories? Yeah.
calorie and like a financial reason too.
Yeah.
Banana is a big help. And
Yeah.
without eating banana,
Mm.
maybe it's very, very challenging to sustain well-being lifestyle in Japan and maybe in other world too,
Yeah.
for many reasons, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, between the financial, because obviously, like, You know, like I said, a lot of people think in terms of volume and they, you know, compare foods based on grams, you know, for the nutrition, which is a really backward concept. And I go in that into the book as well. But, you know, in terms of actually getting our calories, because, you know, for myself, you know, I predictably require somewhere between 2,800 and 3,200 calories per day. And, you know, bananas on average, to make it easy, like a regular medium sized Cavendish banana, the classic yellow one that we get in most stores, they're on average about 100 calories each. So, you know, you can easily do the math, and it's like, you know, 28 to 32 bananas per day. And it's pretty funny because to a lot of people that seems like a really huge amount. But, you know, for me now, you know, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I remember in the beginning, eating six bananas in a sitting seemed like a lot in the beginning.
Yeah.
But now for me, less than 12 bananas feels like a snack, like it actually feels like a small meal. And 15 to 18 bananas is very average for me for a meal. So, you know, I can easily get my calories in two meals. And if I want to divide it into three meals, that's like three small snacky meals, you know, and it takes a little bit of time, of course, for the body to get used to high water content foods and larger volumes. And you know, I don't recommend stuffing back 18 bananas if you've never done it. You know, it's always important to just really mention that when eating raw food meals, you know, stop when your body tells you, when you don't enjoy it anymore. You know, it gives
Yeah.
you really clear signals. It's so intelligent. But it's yeah, you're so right. You know, like it's not that bananas are magical and special that we need them to be a raw foodist, but it sure makes it easier to get calories in and not to spend way more time eating. You know, like we can have a good banana meal and then focus on other stuff. And, you know, really any sweet fruit will do. You know, what I find, if I have a sweet fruit meal, like let's say bananas or even jackfruit or mamey or dates, which usually with dates I blend them with water to make a smoothie, or one of our favorites, persimmons, which I absolutely love. Uh, I find if I have at least one sweet fruit meal in a day, I,
Yeah.
I can easily get my calories in two meals. But if I don't have one sweet fruit meal in a day, I'm pretty much need three meals in order to get the calories in. And most people new to a raw food diet, if they don't eat a sweet fruit meal, at least one meal a day, they'll probably need four meals. I remember my first couple of
Oh
years on
yeah.
the raw food diet, I needed four or five meals to get all my calories. And then once I figured out bananas and started bringing in bananas or other sweet fruit, it was a game changer. All of a sudden, I could get my calories in. I felt more satisfied. I had less cravings. I had more money, you know, and that just caused me to start to really love and appreciate the humble banana even more. So much so that, you know, I now have three tattoos, and, you know, as we say, my name's the Banana Commander.
Three?
I
Three?
got Yeah, I got one. I got these two here. So it's the banana mustache, and then I have a bit of a naughty one down below my waistline.
Oh wow.
I have it as a video on my YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to see that crazy video, it's kind of a funny story. I'll tell you. I was in New York before a Woodstock Fruit Festival, I think 2016,
16.
and I was running down in Brooklyn with my shirt off, and I had a lot of tattoos. And there's this big black dude like booming hip hop music on the street, like it's a classic, like out of a movie scene. It's just like blasting music, and he's like, "Yo, yo, stop, 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 yeah!" I'm like, "Hey, what's up, what's up?" And he's like, "I like your tattoos, man." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, thanks," you know. And he's like, "You want to get any more?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm thinking about getting a banana tattooed down here, you know, but my tattoo artist doesn't want to do it." And he's like, "I'll do it." He's like, "I'll do it for free." I'm like, "What?" And he wasn't joking. So we set an appointment, which was a couple days after the Woodstock Fruit Festival. And I went to the shop. I brought a banana. I went to the store and picked a banana that looked really nice. And he hung it up and he tattooed me just from looking at the banana.
Oh wow.
And yeah, he didn't charge me anything. So Spider, what's up? Thank you so much, man. That was awesome. I still carry it to this day. And yeah, that video is called "The Best / Worst Tattoo Ever," and I got it knowing it was really, really silly. But yeah, so I have 3 banana tattoos.
Oh wow. You really, really love banana.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I do. You know, I think the only person I know who's probably eaten more bananas than me would be Dr. Doug Graham. You know, he's the banana man himself, and
Oh
he
wow.
eats a lot, you know, and something kind of neat, you know, like I love so many varieties of bananas. You know, there's hundreds of varieties of bananas. The most common one, the Cavendish, you know, it's only really been super common for I believe it's like 40 or 50 years. Before that, there was another variety that was more common, but it did actually run into issues with a banana related disease with the, you know, the issue, one of the issues with monocropping. And then the Cavendish was the backup banana. But Cavendish bananas, I really prefer to blend them. Like I like to make banana smoothies with them. In my
Me too.
book, I have over 40 banana recipes, and
Yeah.
there's quite a few smoothies, but there's a lot of other different ones. You know, and most of the time it's blended without any water. And amazing people are amazed by that. You know, they need tons of water, but like you said, you know, they actually become quite liquidy. Like it's not like a really thick pudding, but strangely enough, and I think it's because when you blend them, it breaks down the fiber a lot. But if you take those same bananas and instead of blending it into a smoothie, you just mash it with your hands, it becomes a really thick pudding because the fiber in it hasn't completely broken down, so it hasn't released all the water from the fiber. But when you blend it, it breaks it completely down and it gets way more liquid. And you know, sometimes making it into a pudding and putting some apple slices or some pears or some persimmons or raisins or dates or so many different things, it can be so fun because you know you eat it with a spoon and you take more time and you chew it up and it's just a completely different culinary experience. But you know, even there, you know, like starting with banana varieties, there's other varieties that are way more tasty. Like I'm sure you get some other varieties besides the regular Cavendish, but one of my personal favorites is called the silk fig banana or the apple banana. Very similar. Vanilla and
It's
chunky fruit. Oh, so good. Bananas and
uh
vanilla or bananas and like, you know, carob or cacao are just like so good.
yeah.
Have you
And
ever have you ever go ahead.
so maybe you put some coffee extract or for
Yeah,
something banana or persimmon pudding or I'm not sure.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, there's a company called Medicine Flour, which I was actually tipped off to from Dr. Doug Graham,
Mm.
and it's really darn tasty stuff. They're just like powerful natural extracts, you know, really clean and you know, not weird fillers or anything like that. And they're one of my favorite is actually the coffee as well as the vanilla extracts.
Oh,
And yeah, one of my favorite nice
ice
creams, which is kind of funny.
cream.
It's kind of funny. I didn't actually put any of those in the book because I'm thinking at one point I might actually make a book that is designed really around utilizing those for different recipes, not just banana recipes. But in a second edition, I might actually add those in. But one of my favorite banana ice creams is just bananas with some of the coffee drops as well as some dark vanilla, and it's really, really tasty.
Oh
Super
wow.
tasty. But yeah, that's called
Wow.
Medicine Flour, and I believe their website is genuineessentialoils.com or something. They have more than just flavor drops. They also do like, you know, essence-based essential oils and stuff like that, and also ones for like wounds or disinfecting and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I really agree with that. Everything you mentioned. And I usually make my smoothie maybe banana and green. I
Hmm.
always put my greens, but I I made smoothie, banana smoothie yesterday, and like you, very, very small amount of water,
Yeah.
but basically all banana. That was so good. I
Yeah.
usually water down,
Hmm.
but oh my flavor, and it's like, oh, is there something so delicious, the most delicious food in the world like this?
Hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it makes the flavor so much more powerful. And then also, we were talking before a little bit about how it makes it easier to get calories.
Mm.
And for a lot of people, they just don't have the stomach capacity or the digestive strength, the microbiome balance to be able to eat huge meals. But without adding water to it, it makes it more calories per amount of volume. And you may notice, even though it's like 75% water, if you are thirsty and you eat bananas, you kind of get a little bit more thirsty because the body requires water to be able to process simple carbohydrates and sugars and turn it into glycogen. And our muscles hold water for each gram of glycogen. It's like 7 grams for every 7 grams of water for every gram of sugar. And having it really dense like this, instead of having the water in the smoothie to feel more kind of like watery and more hydrating, what I like to do is, I'm having breakfast right now, which is just a glass of
Oh,
water or a couple of
oh,
glasses of
good.
water. And I like to hydrate with my water first because that's super fast and easy digesting, of course, basically no digestion. Um, but then when I have my banana smoothie, I don't add water and I can get way more calories in a smaller volume just so that it's easier on my system and I can get more in. So it just makes it a lot easier. And like you said, it's just a more potent tasting drink. Like I find it's more delicious. Whenever I add water to it, it's still nice, but it's watered down. I mean, you water something down, it becomes a little bit less potent.
Yeah. So there is so many variety of recipes and way to eat banana dishes, and that's so
Mhm.
necessity to live a vegan lifestyle. I think
Yeah.
even if you don't like bananas so much like me, but
Mhm.
I really really love banana. Maybe
Yeah.
it's strange, but I don't like so much, but I really love somehow for so many
Yeah.
reasons. So many, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate and
Mhm.
respect and gratitude for bananas. And so, if you someone new to Barbican lifestyle, banana is a very
It's
very
it's a strong one, it's like it's available year round. It's available basically in every country. It's really inexpensive per calorie, like we mentioned. It's actually quite good for the environment. People get concerned and think, "Oh my gosh, it must be so bad for the environment to be eating bananas when you're in Japan or when you're in Canada or in Sweden." And when you actually look at it, the transportation is a very, very small aspect of the carbon footprint. And part of this is because one, it's just a one item crop. So I think it's important to look at that. Like, it's they grow the bananas, they put them in boxes, and then they put them on usually boats. And boats, they're giant shipping containers, and that requires very, very little gas per pound comparative to other methods of transportation. And there's, in the book, actually, there's a really, really credible study and chart that goes into the carbon footprint and where each aspect of the carbon footprint comes from. And again, the transportation is really, really small. And when you compare bananas per gram or per calorie, because the chart actually goes per gram, but I do the math and share per calorie. It's really a low carbon footprint food compared to almost anything else. Fruits and vegetables are the lowest carbon footprint foods compared to everything else. So it's a great choice for the environment as well. It's all good.
But
It's definitely all
I
good.
really appreciate that you mentioned that because we don't have some guilty about that.
No.
Even it's very or imported banana.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no reason to feel bad about that, you know, and it's pretty wild, you know, like a lot of people are into locavorism and eating close to home, and that's the point I wanted to make actually. And I mean, that's great, you know, that's good. You know, I don't do so from the standpoint that we need to be eating close to home for some, you know, like specific health reason. You know, I think personally that that's really a misnomer. It doesn't make sense. You know, I might actually make a full video exposing that. But it is wild when you actually look at the footprint of certain foods. As I mentioned, and this is what I wanted to get back to. Bananas and fruit, they're a one item crop, you know, so it's like, again, they grow the bananas, they put them in boxes and they ship them. And on any other diet, you know, anything you eat that comes from a box or a bag or a can, it's got multiple ingredients. And a lot of times it has like a long list. And you got to think, for every single ingredient, that's a crop or, you know, like something going on in a lab for some processed stuff, you know, some like synthesized kind of flavors and stuff like that. But for every ingredient, that's a crop, and then that's shipping that crop to another place, and then that's processing that. And so like that adds up a ton. And then if you look at animal products, of course, which I don't consider food, I consider them animals. But if you look at that, you know, the water requirements and, you know, the amount of food requirements, which, you know, that means they're growing a separate food in huge quantities and spraying those because they're usually for animal feed, you know, conventional, heavily sprayed, and you know, there's lots of pesticides and all that. And then there's also you know, all of the machinery to do all that, so all the gas to collect and to harvest all that food. It's often GMO that's fed to the animals, and then all the antibiotic use. And anyways, just in the bigger picture, it's really one of the best choices we can make to be eating bananas as a staple or any fruit or vegetable. And it's wild. I've actually looked at some studies showing that eating local asparagus here in Sweden was worse for the environment than getting asparagus from Spain. And part of that was just because the growing conditions here weren't as favorable, and it requires so much more to actually create it compared to it growing much more easily, and then the shipping being a very small component of the greenhouse gas. So for the yield and the expense and all that other stuff, it wasn't really a good option. But yeah, all that to say, I think it's really a misnomer. You know, there's no reason to fear eating fruits from other places. And anyways, shipping is only going to get better. You know, I see in the future two things happening. Either one, shipping becomes more eco-friendly and basically doesn't have a carbon footprint because it's either, you know, solar, wind, or, you know, electric powered based off of green energy, or we start doing biodomes more consistently where, you know, any city could have a green biodome that has microclimates, and you could be growing bananas here because, you know, I know people who grow bananas in the winter in Canada in greenhouses. You know, I've eaten papayas grown in my hometown in Saskatchewan in a greenhouse, and you know, you best believe that there's going to be more and more really good quality biodomes and greenhouses that are powered by, you know, whether it's geothermal or a combination of geothermal, wind, and solar. So I think the future is bright for even more eco-friendly, tropical, subtropical, and if wanted, temperate fruits in any climate around the world. Oh, have an amazing workout, Watermelon Lad.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Rosh Epian.
Oh, yeah.
Rosh Epian is also part of the bundle with an amazing e-course. Yeah.
Korean barbecue, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't take the course yet, but I found a picture and she's so amazing every
Yes.
time.
So amazing, absolutely super. Always inspires me. We're going to be doing a really cool live about creating a living as a raw vegan or vegan. In all the different ways that we both do that and going deep into that subject. But yeah, no, the good thing is, once you grab the bundle, which you can get in Sachi's link or mine if you like, but you can grab the bundle and, you just said you didn't have time to look at it yet, but we have the rest of our lives now, and with 33 resources in the bundle, you could be making, listen, I thought about it. You could just make one recipe every week, and I'm pretty darn sure you could do that for 8 years before you go through all the recipes, because there's well over 400 recipes, and there's, 56, is it 56 weeks in a year, I think? So, I think it's going to be 8 years of making recipes if you just do one recipe per week.
Yeah, so many. Eating fish junk foods by watching.
Someone's asking you if you're married.
Could you talk about your athletic performance with
Absolutely. Yeah, 52 weeks in a year. There we go. Yeah, I'm poor with that math. So yeah, it definitely would be like 8 years. That's pretty wild. Athletic performance, it's actually kind of funny because, in the part one, I kind of mentioned about how if I'm eating juicy fruit, I need about 3 meals a day. And if I'm eating at least one meal of sweet fruit like bananas, then 2 meals a day is very easy. And in my first 8 months of going raw, I went raw in 2004. But in my first 8 months of going raw, I wasn't drawn to bananas. I was drawn to juicy fruit, which I find most people that are newer to the raw food diet actually are more drawn to the juicier fruit because their body is craving that extra hydration that it hasn't had. And being well hydrated also is really beneficial for cellular detoxification. So when people are new to it and their body is still kind of holding on to a lot of stuff that they couldn't deal with from other, whether it's their lifestyle or, their history or the, foods or additives, anything like that, stress, and extra hydration allows the body to just function more optimally and you feel more light and vibrant and all that stuff. So typically people are drawn to that, and as the body hydrates more and more, and also the digestion improves, I find people are more drawn to sweet fruit. But rewinding that a little bit, my first 8 months I was really just drawn to more juicy fruit, and I was really active because I felt so dang good. But I got to a really low body weight because I wasn't getting enough calories, and I felt more satisfied than I ever had because I was eating way more volume than I'd ever eaten in my life. I was eating so much. I was eating like 12 to 15 plus pounds of produce every day. And I was probably getting more nutrition than I ever had in my life because fruits and vegetables are the most nutritious foods per calorie of any food on the planet. So I was getting so much nutrition and I was getting so much volume, so I was just feeling really good, but I wasn't getting enough calories, and that's really the number one reason people fall off the raw food diet, is at least a fruit-based raw food diet.
Me too.
And so you too, right? It's really common, it's like it takes some time to really understand how much volume we require, and again, kind of like with watermelon, you require like 3+ times as much volume as bananas, but I didn't know that. So I was eating all this high water content food and as many berries as I could and all this kind of stuff. And I got down to, if I'm correct, I think I got down to 145 or 150 pounds, which for me is quite small. Like, right now I'm at like 185, so I got really thin and my joints even started to hurt. Like my knees started to hurt because I probably didn't have enough cushioning between my joints. I was just really, really light. And it took understanding that concept of caloric density and understanding that, hey, maybe, eating more high calorie foods once in a while will help. That it made it so much easier. All of a sudden, I was able to get my calories in with less meals instead of 4 and 5 meals a day. I was able to go down to 4, or even at that time about 3, and I felt even more satiated, and it helped with my athletic performance because if you're running on fumes, you're not going to feel your best. And while I did in those first 8 months feel amazing and I had so much energy, I was running around. By the end of it, like I said, I started to feel like my joints were hurting and I was getting kind of stretched thin. And it took finding really the banana and other dense fruits. I was living in Vancouver, so I was able to get jackfruit and I was able to get durian and some other, and I started eating more dates and stuff like that and learning about date smoothies. But I tell you, Sachi, for the last 20 years, I don't know that there's another food that I've eaten as much calories of. I've probably eaten more volume of some, but I don't think there's any that I've eaten as many calories of or more consistently than bananas. Like I pretty predictably eat about 40, yeah, usually around 40 pounds or like 18, 19 kilos per week. And that's usually just like one meal a day. Most cases of bananas have like about 100 average bananas in them. And I usually eat 15 to 18 per meal at lunch, and if I'm not, like right now, bananas, it's kind of funny. I feel a little bit self-conscious because, I'm launching the banana book and I don't have any bananas in my house except for some frozen bananas. And it's just because when I went to the wholesale produce market, there's a really great wholesale here in Malmo, Sweden called Zia Frukt AB. But when I went there, they just had really kind of green bananas and they're fairly expensive, which it's kind of funny compared to other fruit per calorie. It still wasn't expensive, but it was expensive for what I normally pay for bananas. But then they also had dates that were super inexpensive. I got 6 kilos of dates for $14, and they're really tasty dates. And so I actually ended up getting 12 kilos of dates, which for me, I usually eat about a half a kilo of dates for a meal. I blend that up with 1.5 liters of water, and that's like 1,400 calories. And so getting, 12 kilos of dates, that's 24 lunches, and for 28 bucks, so that's like $1.20 per meal, so it keeps my food budget really low. Yeah, so
Fresh, right? Fresh dates.
well, they're
Dry
not like they're still dry, but they're kind of the plump ones that are soft and blend really easy. So I mean, I just put them in the fridge because they'll last for a long time. But I'll probably end up going through those in about 2 months. I won't eat them every day, and I'm gonna get some bananas during the bundle. Not only just to show off the bananas and stuff like that, but just because I'm already missing bananas a little bit, and my digestion's even better with bananas compared to dates.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah, I get a little bit more farts with date smoothies. I'll admit it. And they don't smell, but I make noise and I get embarrassed.
Yeah, do you usually eat before exercise or after exercise?
That's a great question. Yeah, back to the athleticism. I absolutely feel my best exercising on an empty stomach. I don't like to eat anything before exercise unless I really know that I'm going to be too busy for too long to eat. To eat like really soon after. So like if I'm let's say I'm leaving the house and I know that I'm going to be away for like 4 or 5 hours and I'm going to be busy during that whole time, and I don't want to carry some food with me, then I might eat something simple, before. It might just be like an 8 or 10 banana smoothie, which again, for me is a small snack, it's not that big. But if I'm just going to the gym, for example, which, truthfully, most of the time at the gym, lately I've been doing yoga. After this, I'm going to do a yoga class and a lower body exercise day. So I'll probably be in the gym for about an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45. But unless I'm working out really hard for more than 2 hours, I definitely won't eat anything before. And even if I am going to be working out really hard for say 2, 3, or 4 hours, like just out and about and skateboarding and then doing something else and doing something else, I'll just bring a juicy sports drink, which it could be a banana milk, which would just be bananas with water, which is even easier to digest and lighter on the system anyway. Or I might just make a small date smoothie, or just bring a couple pieces of fruit, some grapes or some oranges with me, because if you're working out really intensely for more than 2 hours, you can come to a place where runners, they call it hitting the wall, where you're depleting your muscle glycogen stores, which is basically just your sugar stores in your muscles. And at that point, that's when you just feel totally tired and runners will like collapse. But once you start getting low in muscle glycogen, it's definitely advantageous to get some in from the outside. We'll recover way faster and we'll get immediate energy so we can continue on with our exercise. But yeah, the shorter version, I really definitely feel my best working out on an empty stomach. And that goes into a much bigger kind of topic, which kind of going back to when people are new to this lifestyle, and they still have a lot of stored toxemia in their cells and in their fat tissue, and their detoxification is much more intense. What happens is people find that when they're hungry and they don't have meals, that they might feel a little lightheaded, or they might feel like as their body is adjusting, they might feel stronger cravings or uncomfortable sensations and have a harder time working out on an empty stomach. But I can tell you, for muscle contraction and to be able to actually like push as much as you can, I swear by empty stomach while working out. And I find over time, most people agree with that as well. It sometimes takes a little bit of time to get adapted to that, and to make sure you're hydrated as well before working out. How about yourself? Do you prefer to do activity with food in your belly or without?
No, I'm comfortable with absolutely without food, any food, but I feel I'm not good at. I feel hungry before without any food. So
Yeah.
maybe post workout meal is best. But sometimes I just feel hungry during the exercise, so maybe sometimes I put food before I go to exercise. But the post workout meal is more efficient to absorb nutrient, right?
Absolutely. It's really amazing because activity requires a lot of blood flow, and digestion requires a fair amount of blood flow. It's often misquoted, but we can utilize up to 60% of our blood flow if we eat a heavy meal. And this is why people they need to fall asleep after a Thanksgiving feast, because it's so complicated digestively. It's requiring so much blood flow to digest that there's not enough blood to the brain, and you want to fall asleep. That and the tryptophan in turkeys. But a simple fruit meal, it can be low to mid 20s or 30% of your blood flow comparatively. So it's a lot less. But and of course too, if it's really watery, if it's like watermelon or like I said, banana milk, it'll require a little bit less too, because that can just more readily absorb into your through your stomach wall into your bloodstream and then be utilized by all your cells. But it still requires some. So if you're eating food before you're working out, you have less blood flow for your muscles. And as long as you have been eating enough prior to that and you're hydrated, well, you should have glycogen and sugar stored in your muscles, so you can do anything you need to do. But a really cool thing happens when you work out intensely for over an hour, say an hour and a half, up to 2 hours. The body in its intelligence, it starts secreting an enzyme called glucanase. I'm pretty darn sure that's the correct pronunciation. But what this enzyme does is it enables the body to uptake sugar at double the rate. So when you work out really tons, and then afterwards, it's really important again to hydrate. I was talking before about sugar requiring 7 grams of water for the body to actually utilize. So you want to make sure that after you work out, you hydrate up, because that makes the sugar uptake even more effective. So, I like to drink water while I'm working out, after I work out, to make sure I'm hydrated. But then within about the body's going to secrete that gluconase for about 45 minutes to an hour and a half, is what I've heard, depending upon how intensive the activity was and how it stimulates. So during that weight window, pretty much directly after exercise, your ability to uptake the sugars, and thus the nutrients connected with the sugars in the fruit, is double the speed. And what that can do is allow you to recover from your athletic performance almost double the speed. So it's like, that's why, people like Grant Campbell, and, like other like really intense endurance athletes, they can do like a 24-hour race and then the next day still go do a marathon, and like they recover so fast because making sure to be eating while they're going and then eating at the end. And the same with me. That's why I got into raw foods. Actually, I got into raw foods so that I could heal faster and skateboard more and play. I didn't get into raw food to be a raw foodist and to just like sit with my food all day. I did it so I can run around and have fun and experience life and do the things that I absolutely love more often. And I tell you, there's no food like fruit. Bananas are a great one, but like fruit to recover from athletic performance. And I remember Dr. Graham. He actually mentioned. I wish I remember the fellow's name, but there was a leader of the U.S. Men's Olympic team who was quoted saying, "Fruit is like a miracle food for athletes," and it's true. It's the perfect food. People think that that it has no protein, but actually, fruit has almost the perfect amount of protein for us. Like most fruits range between 4 to 8% of their calories from amino acids, and they represent all of the essential amino acids. So, our needs are actually lower than that. So, when we're eating our fill of fruits, we can get enough protein. But if we want, we can get more by adding in some greens, which are even higher on protein per calorie. But it's really amazing, right? How perfect fruit is. Like, it's just, it's really nature's perfect food. And there are very few nutrients that we require more of than is typically in fruit. But that's why greens are so amazing and important as well, because they bump up those minerals. They often bump up some of the fat content, the EFAs, and they, of course, bump up the amino acids profile as well. So they're just like, fruits and veggies are a match made in heaven.
I really agree with that. Yeah, at least I get so many greens. Banana, if I have mostly, I eat mostly bananas as my diet. As well as I get greens.
Yeah.
I feel very good, like a very nutrient-rich body.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so satiating. You just feel so darn good, and that's something that I've found in coaching, that when people start to add in more greens, they just feel even more satiated, even more grounded, and just better in general. And it's one of those things that I think often people, they make the mistake that because fruit is really sweet and easy to eat, that we should just eat fruit. And sometimes even they might say that they don't enjoy greens, but like anything, some foods, they take a little bit of time for our body to recognize, appreciate, and even adapt digestively too. So, green smoothies and, smooth salads or anything like that, just starting with a little bit, introducing a bit of greens to your body, all of a sudden your body's like, wow, this is amazing. I feel even better. I'm getting some of the important nutrients I need for my detoxification process and all these different things. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you start enjoying and craving more greens and wanting more green smoothies. It's just perfect.
It's so easy to put mix and eat greens with smoothie. banana and just a handful, start with a handful of greens, and the taste is not so different.
No.
It's all sweet, so.
Absolutely. In my book too, I mean, of course, I have lots of sweet banana meals, and I have green smoothies, which I kind of, I won't say I cheated, but I made a whole bunch of my favorite regular banana smoothies, and then I gave a list of greens you can add to them because I felt kind of silly saying, this is my, my banana mango smoothie, and then this is my banana mango spinach smoothie, like I've done that in the past, but instead I just said any of the smoothies are great with greens, and just add as much as you like from your favorite greens, But I also have savory banana meals, and I have a banana curry in there, which is
I haven't tried it.
so good. It's so good, and it's so satiating, and it's like I was saying, just economically, it's a more inexpensive dinner meal compared to using, say, mango or tomato or something like that for the curry ingredient. But it digests great, and it's amazing as well.
I understand that because I use banana for dressing too.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a date, so I cannot access dates on the supermarket. So very ripe one is compatible for dried fruits. I found it very ripe one. So maybe banana and onion or garlic or sometimes instead of using a date.
Yeah.
I used to do that. So.
Have you ever heard of The Last Airbender?
Airbender?
The Last Airbender. It's a TV show.
I don't know.
No. It's a pretty fun show, and in it is basically a individual who is like the savior of the world and can basically perform magic with all of the elements, can bend air and earth and water and all that stuff. Anyway, the only reason I'm mentioning it is because there's an episode where him and his Zen master talk about one of the secrets for enlightenment, and the secret is banana onion smoothies. So when you mentioned bananas, onions, and garlic, I mean it's an interesting flavor and nutrient combo, and a lot of people think, but I totally agree. And I mean, in my banana curries, I like to put some onion or some garlic or some ginger in there, and some curry powder, a bunch of different stuff in there, and I find it's best over different ingredients, but it's so tasty.
Thank you for sharing. And
Such a
I
pleasure.
want to talk endlessly, but maybe you have time because it's almost one hour left. Maybe you have to go.
I do have another live in a little bit, or actually no, I guess my live's not for a little while, but I do have a yoga class that I intend to do.
Okay.
So I agree. I can't believe how fast time went by, Sachi. I feel like we could just chat for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you inviting me on your channel, and I really appreciate you being a part of the bundle and creating your beautiful book. I think that it's going to help a lot of people. Would you like to share a little bit about your book really briefly before we go?
Oh yeah. I wrote about self-acceptance, and I'm not everyone is not perfect, but I'm especially not in perfect as Robbie. I think, and I have experienced so many struggles, so I like to help people like me who is covertly suffering from things, or I think things didn't work for me, or so many challenges and in life, and so
It's really beautiful. I think it shows so much strength to share your struggles and your vulnerabilities and to be human in front of other people, because so many people, they try and put on a face and just pretend everything's perfect, and I think it is just beautiful in its strength to show that, show from a vulnerable side and to share the things that we have done that have helped us process so much. And I know that's really what your book goes into, is like strategies and ways that you've grown through your struggles so that other people can have an easier time, right?
Yeah, I don't say like everything's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like to.
It's okay to not be okay, and that's the
right.
surest way to get back to being okay.
That's right. So not to be perfect, like a vegan lifestyle or any other personal development thing. No need to be perfect.
Yeah. If I could share another perspective, because it's so common, that phrase, no need to be perfect. And I understand that from the view of perfection being like an end point, saying like perfect is when I am this, you know? But something that I like to bring into the conversation, and I'm not saying it's right, it's a different way of looking at it. And for me, it feels really good, is that to me, perfection is a process. Perfection includes the tripping and the falling over and the binging, because it's through all of those points that we actually learn and we grow and we move towards something. And, because I look at a tree, and from the seed to its highest heights, I think it's all beautiful and it's all perfect. And it was part of that tree's growth and process and lifespan. And a little baby that is, spilling the milk on the ground, it's still perfect too. It's just learning how to hold it. So like I really like to put that in there, that perfection is part of the process, and it makes it so much easier on ourselves when we recognize that even those falls and those moments that we question ourselves or we judge ourselves, that they're part of our unfolding. They're part of our being that flower that is starting to open up to the sun. And that if we embrace that, I think everything becomes even more easy and relaxed and open-hearted.
That's right. Maybe the biggest thing I learned over the years from you is how relaxing attitude towards this working lifestyle or everything. Just relaxing for.
I'm so happy to hear that. When we relax, everything opens up, right?
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for sharing everything.
Thank you so much, Sachi. Really appreciate you, and really, really appreciate you being a part of the bundle. Of course, again, I know it was a push for both of us to get it done, but here we are, congratulating and enjoying and spreading this out. And I know your book, and I hope my book too, will help a lot of people. So thank you again so much.
Thank you, and so looking forward to doing another talk too.
Absolutely. Where are we here? We'll talk behind the scenes on that one, and get that set up. Oh no, sorry, no, on the last day, May 12th, the journey of love and self-acceptance. So,
at the same time.
So join us on May 12th, 1 a.m. PST, 10 a.m. for me, and 5 p.m. for you on the 12th. We're bringing in the end of the bundle too. That'll be the end of the bundle, so that's a perfect date to really talk about love and self-acceptance, but hopefully not self-acceptance that people forgot to get the bundle. Hopefully it'll be they'll get the bundle, and we'll talk about self-acceptance and love in different ways. Yeah. Have a beautiful day, Sachi.
Thank you so much for taking time with us.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
and
everybody,
have a
for joining
nice
us.
day. And enjoy your yoga.
Thank you so much. I'm excited for it.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for